Get ready, because here's your host, Tyson Mutrix.
Good morning, everybody. I've got a really exciting show for you. It's really kind of interesting because I feel like AI has slowed down a bit, and because we were at this point where news was coming out every single day with different like updates, and it's kind of slowed down a bit. But then the last couple of days have been pretty interesting. There were things that were happening in the middle of me actually searching that, like, for example, Google made an update when it comes to their AI mode. And then I actually got a text from Jeremy Danielson about Comet, which was something that was launched by Perplexity, which was really cool. I somehow, so he got on the wait list. I opened up my browser, went to it. It gave me immediate access, and I want you to be very, very careful. This isn't even one of the things I'm going to cover today, but I want to be very, very careful about which computer you download it onto, because what's really cool is it's a browser-based AI agent, and I downloaded onto this computer right now that I'm streaming from. This is the one that's set up for the podcast. I've got my workstation over there for law firm work, and it does not. I went back and tried to download it. It puts me on the wait list on that computer. So it's interesting. It does not give you access on every single computer. Just because you get access doesn't mean you're going to get it every single time. Be very, very careful about that. So choose your computer wisely. So there we go. The show today, though, I like I said, I've got a lot. I'm going to try to get everything in the 30-minute slot, but first story we're going to be talking about is it's actually a combination of a couple stories. It's about ranking number one with AI. Where you're from, it's another one. We're going to be talking about cadence, speaking cadence. We're going to be talking about Google Maps, but not necessarily really about Google Maps. You'll know what I'm talking about in a second. And then some free AI courses that I thought were really kind of interesting that people might be interested in. So let's get into the first one. And I'm going to start, before I get into the meat of the story, I actually had the show prepared. And then this morning I saw this article, and this was really interesting. This is from Search Engine Land, which I do like to get on every once in a while. AI traffic is up 527%. And so the name of the article is AI traffic is up 527%. SEO is being rewritten. AI platforms are transforming discovery. Traffic is surging. Now strategies must evolve according to the 2025 Previsible AI Traffic Report. And so I'll just read a little bit more of this. For the past year, we've talked about how AI might change search. And they emphasize might. That moment is over. And that's what the moment it's interesting because I saw the title of this article and I said, okay, the shift is happening then, because we've been talking about, in 2-3 years, this is what's going to happen. It's already happening. The move is happening rapidly, much, much faster than I would have thought, I think. And they talk about this is no longer a what if conversation. We are seeing a measurable shift in web traffic movement. And this is something we've been talking about for a little bit, where you have to get your site ready for this. That's something we have been doing. We have been strategically changing the way we produce our content for the site to make it more LLM friendly. It's really, really important. So not in theory, in actual traffic. In just 5 months, total AI referred sessions jumped from 7,076 to 107,000. That's a 527% increase between January and May. Some SaaS sites are now seeing over 1% of all sessions coming from LLMs. Traffic from ChatGPT, Claude, and others is doubling and tripling across verticals like legal, health, and finance. Legal, I don't know if you caught that part, legal, health, and finance. Really, really interesting. And here's the TLDR they say on what you need to know about AI search. So obviously it's up. LLMs are already part of the user journey. High consultative industries are leading. So that means legal, finance, SMB, insurance, and health. That makes up 55% of all LLM driven sessions. Wow. Holy geez. That's a lot. That's way higher than I would have thought. ChatGPT leads, but the field is widening. SEO is splitting and speeding up. It's no longer just about ranking in Google. You now need to earn visibility. So, the reason why I brought up Google AI mode is I now see how they're going to make the transition. I was searching yesterday and I was something stupid about Superman, to be honest with you, but I got a pop-up from Google and it said, do you want to use AI mode? And I was like, heck yeah. So I hit yes, just because I wanted to see what it was about. And sure enough, it's a different view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like if you've not yet seen it and how to find it. So I just did this simple search. So I'll go over here. So, what does Mizzou football rank this year? People are sleeping on Mizzou football again. They did it last year. They're going to sleep. They're going to do it again. So this is the regular search for those of you that are watching. Those of you that are listening, there is under the search bar in Google, there are these, it's a list of menus, list of tabs that you can click on. And those of you, whenever I say these, you're probably going to know what I'm talking about. So there's the all, there's the news, images, videos, all that. Well, now they've added on the far left side AI mode, and it looks like this for those. It's just to me, it looks like I think it kind of looks like what a browser should look like, in my opinion, where you get the answer right away. And then on the right side, you get the links. I think this is a much cleaner view. This to me is how search should look. Now I should be able to scroll more. I do wish I could scroll a little bit more, but that could be just out of habit, where with Google, you're used to being able to scroll. I can't scroll. I'm not dealing with a bunch of ads. I'm not dealing with a bunch of crap that I just don't want to see. This is boom. And I also have on the left side, I've got the button to put another prompt. I also have my history. I like this. It's so much cleaner. This is something that might save Google, maybe might, but I see the way now. This is what they're going to be doing go forward. But I want to make sure I share that with people so you could see it, because it is very, very interesting to me. But all right, here we go. Let's go now to our next story. And actually, I'm sorry, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So the next thing that I do want to talk about, though, is it is about a guy that he actually created, or he got his company to #1 on Google with just AI. And so I'm going to walk you through his strategy, because it's really interesting. And I think that it's something you can use. Now, I will say there's a part of his strategy where he was looking for a boring company. Okay. I don't think we have a lot of those. I think that I think with a lot of us, we're in competitive markets. Injury is very competitive. I mean, what is family law, estate planning, criminal, all that. I think these are all competitive markets. So that is one thing. But this video was done by Greg Eisenberg. I've talked about him in the past. He does a lot of cool stuff with like vibe coding and all that. But he had his friend on. His name's James, the boring marketer. James, I don't even know if they ever mentioned his last name, but James, the boring marketer. So James, he partnered with a mobile diesel mechanic business in Charlotte. All right. So that's why they talk about a boring business. And what they used was Claude Code, which I think I mentioned Claude Code last week. Claude Code's also awesome. It's one of those things where, Perplexities. There's like so many great things out there. Claude, Perplexity, all that. But what he uses, he uses Claude Code, and then other AI tools is what he says. So he picked this boring business is what he did. And they really kind of attacked it. They used Claude to do keyword search. And then the prompt was, here's my site. So list of the site. What keywords should I optimize for? And then Claude returned about 25 to 50 keywords across, emergency terms, local geographic terms, service/problem-based queries, and then used it for instant mapping and page creation. So he built a dedicated landing page for each of the services and cities. So service plus city. So he had been a lot of different combinations. So the pages include local landmarks, FAQs, internal links between the services and the cities. Also pretty cool. I think that part is pretty spot on when it comes to SEO. SEO audit and fixes via Claude. So we prompted Claude, ultra think through my site, fix all SEO issues. Pretty interesting prompt. Claude added schema markup, sitemaps, alt text. It improved the site speed by compressing images and converted to WebP. And I don't even know what that means. And then created internal links automatically. It also, so we talked about it improving speed and authority. It's a really big one. He ran the site through page speed insights. It copied errors into Claude for automatic fixes, used the Vercel plus GitHub for fast, seamless deployment. It's pretty cool. This is crazy because this is all just AI. And then the Google business profile part of this, he created a GMB and synced all data with site for navigation. So that doesn't seem to me that he could have done that with AI. That part, unless I guess Claude Code could have done that with as an agent. So never mind. I guess that is possible. And then use Claude sub agents. So ran agents in parallel to find missing all text, audit the metadata, and then research competitors. That's pretty cool. So here's the list of the tools that he used. Claude Code for building, auditing, and optimizing the site. Used Figma plus Anima, and that's for converting designs and React components. And I don't know about that, but that was really about the design part of it. I do, because basically this was an hour-long video, and then speaking of AI, I used AI to give me basically the rundown from the video, because it was pretty dense, and I was like, I just want to streamline this for everybody. So that had to do with the design. Then used GitHub and Vercel for code versioning and auto deploy. So that was just being able to deploy things to actually get them done. The Google page speed insights. Many of you probably heard about that, and use that to check and fix performance. And then Google business profile for local SEO boost. So the results ranked top 3 on Google in less than 24 hours, which is crazy. Generated thousands in revenues instantly. Mechanic fully booked for was after launch. So really cool. I kind of put together this table. So basically high intent keywords, and then content supply, use it for technical SEO, improve the user experience, built the Google business profile, internal linking, continuous SEO agents, which was pretty cool, and then fast deployment, which is pretty awesome. But there we go. That's what I said. We're just now through the first ones. That's why I was saying I'm hoping to get through everything, because I packed a lot into this show. But let's keep moving. We're going to get on to the next one, and this one, this is a person that I would absolutely love to have on the show. And I'm gonna show this to you. And her name's Vanessa Van Edwards. I've spoken about Vanessa Van Edwards in the past, and for this one, I'm going to share my screen again, and you're going to get to hear from her what I want you to hear. So here we go.
That's for film. I'm like, oh my God, where are you from? No, don't answer this question. It's a trap. Here's what happens. When you ask this question, you have like a one-word answer. You're like, oh, I'm Austin, Texas. Next time you get asked this question, be ready. Either share a fun fact or a story about your place. So I would say, oh, I'm from Austin, Texas. I live right down the street from Matthew McConaughey. And they'd be like, really? And I'd be like, no, but I wish. And then we both laugh. Or the other day, I heard someone say, oh, I'm from Minneapolis. It's where the Mighty Ducks were filmed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, best movie ever. And if you talk to a young person, they don't know who the Mighty Ducks are, look it up. Do not get trapped by this question. Be ready to go, because you know that you're going to be asked it, to loop in a better story. Otherwise, you're going to hit a conversational dead end. And don't ask where you're from to someone else. That's going to set you up for competition dead end. Instead, ask, What's the best thing about where you're from? Then you find out where they're from, and it's a cool little tidbit. Where are you from?
So I thought it was really cool. And she says in her post, we hear it all the time. So where are you from? It seems harmless, but this question can quickly turn into a dead end or worse, an awkward moment. Let's flip the script by having a great answer to this question. What's your answer for where are you from? Tell me below. I also have a guide on the other dreaded small talk question. How are you? Spoiler. You don't have to say fine. So I highly recommend that you follow Vanessa Van Edwards. She has some really good stuff that she puts out there. She also has a couple books where she talks about all the different principles that she teaches. But I thought that was a really, really simple and good way to engage in a conversation, especially when you sometimes I think we've all had these times where we've encountered someone that maybe not the most interesting person in the world, but I think this is a way where you lighten the mood, you have a little fun with it, you turn it into a little game for yourself. I think that's a lot of fun. So I wanted to share that. I thought that was pretty good. There's another one I want to share with you, where this one is on speaking cadence, and this is one, to me it's really cool. I like these little techniques. I think they're all really, really helpful for us as attorneys. I mean, it could be from a marketing standpoint or from a networking standpoint, or speaking. You're doing a video. It could be in the courtroom. Lots of different things, and that's why I wanted to share these. And this next one is in that same vein, where it is. I think it's going to be extremely useful for many of you. And so that's why I want to share it. So here is the next one.
Learn to speak in cadence. When you speak in cadence, and time to process what you're saying, but they can also attach the emotion that goes with it. The cadence is not just seductive, it is powerful. And a lot of executives don't know how to use it. I've been to presentations where people just let go. They're not even listening to what's being said. And yet somebody begins to talk to them in cadence and says, this is it is not fine, but for the moment it is our close stuff. You're paying attention. You're paying attention, not just to what I said, but the emotion behind it. That's a lot better to say, well, this is not our last offer, but wait. Learn.
So I thought this one was really good, and it made me think about some science that I'd read about, or some data I'd read about some of President Obama's his best speeches and his most famous speeches, and how they followed a certain cadence. I thought that was really, really interesting. And there are a lot of parallels for when it comes to politicians. If you go back and you can look at the different cadences and the different patterns of their speech. And this is something where you want to practice it. To be honest with you, I'm working on getting better at it. I'm not quite there yet, but I did find it to be a really interesting thing where you can kind of talk in these cadences, and you kind of, it takes a lot of effort, but if you can get it down, it does make you think about the people that you've heard speak that you remember the most. It's because they have a cadence. It is because they have a cadence, or sometimes it's because of their actual voice or something distinct about their voice. But a lot of times what it is it's that cadence. And I find that very, very interesting. So try to build some sort of cadence into your speaking patterns. And I think it'll go a really long way. But all right, I've got another one. So this is, we spent so much time on that first one. I think the videos are kind of helpful because it kind of helps break things up a little bit, but let's go into the next one. This one is not about speaking. This is more of life advice. Okay, that's kind of more of what I would consider this one. So this is a good one. So this story is Google Maps, but it's not really about Google Maps, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So enjoy.
Scream at you. It doesn't say. Ever notice when you take a wrong turn on Google Maps, it doesn't scream at you? It doesn't say, "You idiot, you failed." It just says, "Recalculating," and gives you another route. That's business. That's life. You mess up, cool. Reroute. Maybe that wrong turn saved you from a worse crash. Maybe that detour taught you what the straight path never could. Maybe that scenic route was the exact view you needed to keep going. So stop yelling at yourself like you lost forever. You're not behind. You're just recalculating. And guess what? You're still going to get there. Ever notice when you take a wrong turn on Google Maps, it does.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was something that many of us sometimes think, like we can sometimes get in our own heads and kind of beat ourselves up a little bit, as opposed to looking at the instead of doing, using RSF that Jason Selk talks about. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll kind of beat ourselves up and not look at the bright side of things. I did think that was really kind of a really cool way of putting it, is thinking about how Google Maps does it. To be honest with you, I have no idea who this person is. I tell it somebody the at the driven man at the _driven man is who shared it, but I don't know who that person is. I do think it's a really good point. I think it's a great point. It also goes to show just you don't have to get all of the great advice from famous people. This may be a famous person. I have no idea, but I thought it was great advice. I think getting great advice from all places is a good thing. But the last story is about these are free Google AI courses. And I think that's pretty cool. On this one, it's I'm going to go through each of them. So it's from Google. They just dropped them. They're all free. So no fees. They say no experience needed. So this is something where you can start, even if you're just now learning AI, you can start now with these, which is pretty cool. The first one is about learn generative AI for data analysis, or analysts. I'm sorry, is that one. And so that's through Coursera. I think they're all through Coursera. The next one is introduction to large language models. So that's probably a little bit more introductory for people that have never used them before. Google cybersecurity. So if you've got someone on your team that handles the cybersecurity, that's something that people can do. Introduction to image generation. So learn about diffusion models and machine learning, understand how they work for image generation, explore why they're gaining popularity in AI. It's pretty cool. Google prompting essentials. I think that's one that I'm probably going to take. And this one's grow.google is where this one is. Learn 5 important steps to write better prompts, use prompts to help with everyday tasks, make data analysis faster, and create presentations, create prompts to develop AI agents for expert advice and role playing. That's pretty good. I use role playing. I've talked about this before, where I was prepping for an 8th Circuit Court of Appeals argument, and I used the AI this was in voice mode. I asked it to be a hot bench, and it asked me questions. It was pretty cool. It was very, very productive. 6, generative AI prompt engineering. Use prompt engineering methods to make text prompts better, which helps improve the reliability and quality of large language models. Very similar to number 5. However, they are different. Number 7, machine learning specialization. I think that's a good one. Create machine learning models using NumPy, I don't know what that is, NumPy, and scikit-learn. Train models to make predictions and sort things into categories. Number 8, generative AI for software developers specialization. It seems like it gets a little bit more advanced. Number 9, Google Data and Analytics Capstone. I think that one's a really good one for anyone that has a marketing department or a tech team. So learn the important parts of a good case study, practice analyzing real data, find out how to use case studies when applying for jobs. That one we don't need, obviously. Get AI skills from Google experts to help your career. That one, I think that was just more of that last one. I know none of us are really caring about building our resumes. That's not what we're looking for, but we're just looking for information that will helps our firms. 10, data analysis with Python. So another data analysis thing. I think getting into being able to analyze data is going to be really important over the next decade. 11, digital marketing and e-commerce certificates. And I don't know. I don't know whether that one's a good one or not, just because digital marketing, yes, but we really don't need a certificate. 12, virtual machines and networking in the cloud. That's one that can be good. Set up virtual machines that are both powerful and affordable. Create safe networks using virtual private clouds. Keep everything running smoothly with cloud load balancing, and link up with on-site or more multiple cloud setups. So really interesting stuff. I think there's lots of cool courses that can be found. I'll try to put this one in the show notes, just because this is so you can have a link to all of these different links. That one, this is one that I think you'll want to take a look at. But lots happening in the world, lots happening in the legal space. I really hope you will go back, and I hope you will use the techniques. Just think about the first story we talked about, right? I hope you'll use some of the techniques that we talked about, because I promise you, I've been talking about this for a while. The LLMs are what's going to be important in the future. So you need to be building your sites for the LLMs. And you got to remember, I talked about this in the guild. I gave the layout of what it needs to be, all the things you need to have, all the elements you need to have for the LLMs. It's all that's within the guild. So if you're in the guild, you can have access to that in Kajabi. But it doesn't matter if the principles, where it doesn't matter where you get the information from. You can get the information all over the internet right now, how to set up your sites for the LLMs. And you really need to do that, because it's still good practices for the SEO, even for Google. It's not like you're going to be losing that traffic. You'll probably be gaining traffic, because you're going to be building your sites better. Your sites are going to be built better for people to find them. And so whether it's for LLMs or SEO, that if you build it for LLMs, it's going to benefit you in both categories. So I hope you'll go back and do that, because it's really, really, really going to be important in the future. But that's all I have for this show. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we will see you hopefully in Nashville, MaxLawCon. Go to maxlawcon.com. I don't want to forget to mention that. Get your tickets to MaxLawCon. Go to maxlawcon.com. Nashville is going to be amazing. So we'll be talking about some of this stuff out in Nashville. But have a wonderful week, everybody. We will see you.
Our next mastermind in New York City is sold out. But don't worry, there's still time to get your tickets to the mastermind and Max LawCon in Nashville in October. Max LawCon is 2 days of immersive learning, powerful insights, and meaningful connections, all designed to provide actionable strategies you'll take back to your firm and implement right away. No fluff, just real talk and tangible takeaways you can implement immediately. Go to maxlawevents.com for more details.
I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity.